Hey, hey, hey! Welcome to the Bag Hag Digest. So, price increases. I guess 3 times in the past few months, Louis Vuitton has raised its prices. Last October, November was the first one in recent times, and there was one in March. And then more recently, just this May 5th, I believe. Likewise, Chanel has seen a very shocking recent price increase that many a YouTuber has been upset about, I guess with some good reason. I'm not going to go into detail in this video about what items were increased by how much and when. I'll just put a couple of links below by some reputable sources I found were useful when I looked into this. A lot of people have already been talking about this, so you might even already know by the time you're looking at this video. As you know, luxury houses increase their prices at regular intervals, some as much as 3 or more times a year. And I think this is pretty standard practice. They have to keep the costs associated with producing these bags, which is quite substantial, up to par. Ostensibly, they have to keep people employed. And also, perhaps more importantly, and I don't know, I have no proof of this, but people have been saying it, they want to keep their items in the realm of the luxury consumer, which means basically keeping it out of the realm of regular consumers, regular Janes and Joes like me and most of you guys. So, you know, we always look in awe at them and hope that one day we can get one, and some of us do. We save up a lot of money for them. And yeah, that's the game. I don't think it's the fact of the price increases that has upset most people in the bag community. I mean, we don't necessarily mind that prices increase because then that gives our bag some resale value should we decide to pass our bag on to someone else. It's a lot of money to spend on a bag, and if there's no resale market, a lot of us wouldn't spend the amount of money we do on bags, I think. Rather, it's more of the fact of the amount by which some of these items have increased in a single go, and also the timing. I mean, come on, we're in a pandemic. Some items from Chanel have increased by over 15%, some, depending on the currency that you're looking at, 20, 25, even 27, I've heard quoted, percent for an item. That's a huge amount of money. Now, Chanel does not sell its items online, only at the boutique, which adds a little more salt to the wound because obviously people who want to take advantage of the time left before the increase can't get out to the boutiques because they're in an area where there's lockdown. So that's kind of distasteful. I'm sure Chanel and other luxury brands have lost money in recent months. Hopefully, they've kept their employees on, and as far as I know, most of them have, which is a very good thing. And I know that a lot of them have been donating to helping the cause and to charities and whatnot, also great. In the case of Chanel, ultimately, I know they haven't sold anything in their boutiques recently, but I'd be very surprised if there hasn't been any wheeling and dealing going on behind the closed doors, because a lot of their preferred clients they can contact through telephone, and I'd be surprised if they didn't cut a deal. I wouldn't say give them a better price per se, but at least offer those preferred clientele, meaning the ultra rich, some access to items that before others. I mean, that's pretty normal behavior. You give your preferred clients the best options, and that's not limited to the luxury market. Or is it? I think it's not likely that the Chanel price increase was not planned before the virus outbreak. Probably they intended to do it anyway. However, in terms of the amount by which some of those classic items increased in price, not sure. I'm wondering if that might be reactionary. No proof of it. Obviously, Chanel's not going to speak to that, but it doesn't matter because ultimately they don't care about me and most of you guys. They only care about that minute. They want to be Hermes, and look out, Hermes, you've got a new sister. But fellow bag lovers, as an overworked, underpaid educator, I'm sure you all know how much we get paid. It's not a great deal. I mean, I was already well outpriced by luxury brands. And it's one of the many reasons that I don't shop retail. I'm simply not in that bracket. But that doesn't mean I can't lust after wonderful bags and that I don't actually purchase them. I do. I just get them a different way. Eventually, these crazy price increases will trickle down into the resale market, but to be honest, in the near future, I don't think it'll affect me here in Japan, and that's basically because of the Japanese market. From what I've observed of Japanese over the last couple of decades I've lived here, is that Japanese do not like things that are not bright and shiny and in pristine condition. There's not the same, although there are outliers of course, but there's not the same love of the old and vintage that there is back home. I'm Canadian. Yeah, antique shopping, it happens here, but it's not quite the same, and the items have to be, you know, dating back from like the Meiji era. There is like a market for that, but that's pre-Chanel, my friends. Another thing about the Japanese market is that they tend also to like things that are trendy. So if someone has bought an expensive handbag, it's not only because of the quality it represents, it's also probably more because of the image it presents. So if the bag design is out of fashion, there's a high likelihood you'll see it on the pre-loved market. So if there's an item that is both in less than pristine condition, a bit scoffed, and also not trendy anymore, the prices here are going to be a lot favorable for someone like me. So I'm going to continue to exploit that to my full advantage, because I don't really give up how in fashion something is, as long as I like it. And if it's not in great condition, you've seen my videos, I like to restore items to their former glory and then use them. And the wonderful thing is that for me, investment happens when you buy, not when you sell. So when I get something really at a very low price, and if it's not in good condition, I can fix it up. And if it is, and in both cases, if I fall out of love with it or don't use it, I can resell it and either get all my money back or even make a small profit, especially if I sell outside of Japan. So there you go. So in general, especially toward Chanel, I do feel a twinge of repulsion. I don't think it was in good taste for them to do it right now, but I understand why they wouldn't give a rat's. I've always wanted a Chanel flap. I mean, it's a beautiful design, it's classic. A lot of people agree with me, right? But it's not the perfect bag. First of all, the volume to capacity ratio is not so good. The bags look like they can hold a lot more than they actually can, and I prefer bags that are the opposite, that are belie how much they can hold. Also, the bags are heavy. The classic flaps, especially the double flaps, are heavy, and if you want a bag with a bigger capacity or size, that's gonna weigh on you quite literally if you carry it around all day. And third, with Chanel bags in general, there are some exceptions, the chains for me are just too bloody short. And Chanel, if you're gonna charge $8,000 now, it's up to $8,000, this is the prices we're looking at now, for a bag. Bloody heck, I mean, you can at least make those straps customer design. I think the consumer should be allowed to choose the length of the chain strap. There should be some bespoke element to it at this stage. And while you're at it, chuck in a precious gem into the logo. And also, why don't you return to the former glory of the gold plating? You know what I'm saying? And while you're at it, Chanel, why don't you bring back the single flap into the classic line? It was lighter, and you didn't have to mess about with all the flap stuff going on inside. It was a better model, better design. Just a few years ago, Chanel was around the $5,000 mark for its Chanel flaps, a few of them anyway. And now, yeah, $8,000 for a bag. So we're pushing, starting to compete against Hermes. And As you may know, I'm not a fan of Hermes. I think they're a little bit elitist with their policy, a little bit. But they're also just not a brand that appeals to me aesthetically, and that's okay. But Chanel now, I don't think they deserve to be there with Hermes, because one thing that is good about Hermes is that they have consistent brand quality and aesthetic. And I think Chanel, I don't think they're consistent. I think their quality's gone down over the years. I don't think they're offering good value for money. And I mean, no brand that charges, I don't know, can you ever justifiably charge over $5,000 for a bag? I don't know. I think it would have to have quality materials in addition to craftsmanship and precious jewels and metals in there too, please. I haven't been impressed with Chanel in recent years, and I'm not impressed with Chanel after this increase either. So I'm giving Chanel the bird at the moment, just, you know, until my financial situation changes. I am going to buy a dupe Chanel bag, and I'm gonna post on that when it arrives. I recently purchased it. It's probably crap quality, but you know what? I like this particular one that I found. I find a picture of it, I'll put it here. I don't think it exists in Chanel's line as it is. I don't care, I just like it. And I'm gonna hack that bag strap so I can wear it. And yeah, stay tuned for that. Okay, bag lovers, that is my 2 cents on the price increase situation, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.